Hello and welcome to week 4 of Health 135. So this week we're going to be continuing our discussion on healthy children. And so this week you're going to be looking at chapter 4, which is going to deal with a lot of illnesses or issues that children may be facing. This chapter is actually very near and dear to my heart, simply because one of the main things they talk about in this chapter is how children with allergies are having to deal in the classroom, and how we as teachers can make sure that we are making life just as wonderful for them as it is for a child in the classroom who doesn't have allergies. So as a mom who has 2 girls with severe tree nut allergies, and they both have to carry EpiPens, it's always been important to me to make sure that all children are always included in everything that's done in the classroom. So the chapter goes over quite a few illnesses that children may be dealing with, some more serious than others. It talks about diabetes, which is much more prevalent now than it was several years ago even. Things like allergies and asthma, what to do with seizures. So this is a really good chapter for you to spend some time going through, because it's highly likely that at some point in your career you are going to have children who have one or more of these issues. And it's important for you to remember that these children want to be included just like everybody else. So for this week, what you're going to do, you're going to read chapter 4 and you're going to go through the PowerPoint that goes along with it. But this week we're going back to a blog. So you are going to have the opportunity to really find some great information. So when you go into Blackboard this week, you'll see in the course content, we're still under Unit 2, talking about the health of children. And when you go down to week 4, you'll see that we're talking about medical conditions. And so the chapter 4 PowerPoint is in here for you. And when you go to the assignments and assessments, you're going to see that here's the blog that you're going to be doing. So my suggestion to you is to really spend some time looking at one of the medical conditions that children may have, one that maybe is really important to you, maybe one that you really didn't know anything about and you want to get more information. So all you're going to have to do for your blog this week is choose one of the chronic diseases and medical conditions that are listed in your text. And I want you to research how to handle this condition using a credible source. So just like you did before, we don't want to use Wikipedia. That is not considered a reliable or a scholarly resource. So you do want to find something with gov or org at the end of it, edu, that signifies some kind of educational institution. So basically, when you do your blog, once you have found your resource, just kind of do like you did before, where you give us a good paragraph talking about what it is that the article discussed. Make sure you really highlight what disease or medical condition your resource is talking about, so that as your classmates are going through, they're able to easily identify what it is that is going to be discussed in your blog. So just make sure you tell us what it is, what the resource is, and really what the resource says about what's the best way to handle a condition like that in your particular classroom. So as I said before, in your first blog, as long as you did it, I gave you full credit for it. But this time I really am looking not just at the content of your blog, but I am looking for those participation in responding to your classmates. So please make sure that you are spending the time to read through their blogs, making some really good, substantial comments about what they have found. This should be a really great group of resources for you, because there's so many different issues that are talked about in this chapter that you may not be aware of. So being able to have all of these resources in one place will hopefully be really helpful for you. So as I showed you before, when you are trying to go in and respond to someone's blog, you can either click on the down arrow underneath your name which should bring up a list of all of the blogs that have already been submitted, or you can click the right arrow next to your name and it will take you one by one through them. So please make sure that by the end of the week you have not only posted your blog, again, try and use a hyperlink to put into your blog, which is basically just where you're able to put the web address of the source, so that all we have to do is click directly on that and it will take us to your particular source. And make sure you've responded to at least 2 of your classmates. So I really hope that this week is going to be one where you feel like you're taking some really great, valuable, practical information away from you, because as you know, we're not going to be trained in how to deal with all of the different conditions that are mentioned in the chapter. So this really is a great chance for you to learn more about it. So remember to also be working on your growth brochure or flyer. Hopefully the video that Jeannie had put up for you is helpful as you're trying to go through. The rubric is in the folder, so please make sure you review that rubric before you submit it so that you can make sure that you get all of your points. Really what I'm looking for is the content, and please make sure the content is all spelled correctly, and the creativity that you put into this. Think of this as something that you're actually going to use in your classroom to be able to give to families, that has all of this information on it. So you want it to be readable. You don't want to use so many technical terms that it's hard for them to understand. So really make this something that you could use in the future. So I hope you continue as we learn about the healthiness of children, how we can promote it, and how we can best help children this week, especially who maybe aren't quite as healthy. So have a fantastic week, and I will see you in week 5.